Transitions, the podcast that will help you transition through life. I'm Emily, your host, Emily, and I am joined by my awesome co-host, Chris Powell. Today, we're going to be speaking with Spain Fur from the Invigory, located in Charlotte, North Carolina. Spain is part owner and manager of the Invigory and is here to give us the skinny on the services they offer and how those services can help you, our listener. As always, please like and follow Transitions on Instagram and Facebook at Transitions Podcast Show. You can always shoot us an email at transitionspodcast7@gmail.com or visit our webpage and subscribe to get updates at transitionspodcast7.com. We look forward to hearing from you. Spain went to Methodist University for his bachelor's in exercise science and has worked at the Invigory for 2 years. During this time at the Invigory, he worked his way up the ladder from technician to management and part owner. When Spain is not working, he enjoys coaching high school football. Spain, welcome to the Transitions Podcast Show. We are so excited to have you.
How's it going, guys? I'm excited to be here.
Yay! So tell us about yourself.
Well, I work at the Invigory. I started there as a technician about 2 years ago. Things just kind of fell into place, and I slowly, moved up the ranks a little bit. I moved from technician to manager, and now I own a portion of the Invigory. It's been insane. It's been crazy. It's been a wild ride, but I've loved every second of it.
So tell us a little bit about your story and how you got started at the Invigory.
Yeah, sure. So, like a lot of people, I, struggled with sports injuries, struggled with anxiety, things like that. So, I kind of always looked on how I could heal myself, my body, everything. And I found that the natural way was the best. I found that out in college. And when I saw the position open at the Invigory, I had to apply. And, because that's something that I believe in. I believe in natural wellness and healing the body through natural ways instead of, pumping your body with pharmaceuticals and things like that. We just basically do old-fashioned treatments with a new school twist, with all of our new school technology. Nice.
So can you tell our listeners a little bit more about maybe the injuries you suffered, anything else?
Yeah. So I've had a lot of sports injuries over my years. Luckily, never any kind of hardcore, ACL tears or anything like that. But I did have, significant back injury. I had several concussions, which ended up ending my career in college. Tons and tons of, sprained ankles, elbow issues, shoulder problems, things like that. So, I understood how important it is to recover and to heal the body. I'm 25 now and still feeling those hits from when I was, 18, 19, even on when I was a kid in high school.
Can you tell us a little bit about the services that you've used and your experience with them?
Yeah, I use all of our treatments, from the cryotherapy to compression therapy. I use them all. I love them all. I use each one for a different specific thing. I use the compression therapy on the regular after a lift or something like that, or a long run, things like that. That's what I like to do is the compressions. It flushes out my lymphatic system. It helps with circulation, range of motion. I know you do the compressions quite a bit.
I do.
And then typically I do cryotherapy right after that, which is the whole body cryotherapy, which is a super cooled nitrogen that is pushed into a tank, and it helps, ice your body, cool your body, reduce inflammation. Then I use the salt room and the sauna both to de-stress and kind of clean out my body. Then I used IV hydration. That's our newest. I love that. We have a doctor and a nurse who administer that. That helps boost my immune system, helps me recover when I need to, from, exercise and things like that. And then last but not least, we have muscle mobilization, which I use to help with my migraines and headaches. And I can say that that's phenomenal. I get Mark from muscle mobilization to work on my neck and shoulders, and it really helps loosen those muscles up and, relieve those migraines.
Nice. Yes, you mentioned that I use your services. I definitely do. I love cryo. I'm there almost every day, and there are a ton of benefits that you're going to talk to our listeners about in a little bit.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned anxiety. I'm sure a lot of our listeners can relate to that. What services specifically have you used, and what has your experience been with that as far as your anxiety?
Yeah. So, I tried everything with my anxiety. With my anxiety, I started about 19 years old. And, at first I didn't believe it. I was like, oh man, there's no way I have anxiety. It's just that's something that's in somebody's head. And I'm perfectly fine. What's wrong with me is, something's wrong with me. It's not anxiety. It's not in my head, and then I was put on all kinds of pills and things like that to help me cope with the anxiety and things. And, none of those really worked for me. What worked for me was deep breathing, meditating, and relaxing my body naturally. And a way I do that is in our salt room. If I'm ever having a bad day with it or struggling with it, I go into the salt room. We pump the salt into the room, and I just sit in there and I deep breathe and just kind of unwind and relax. And that's my favorite way to help with any anxiety I have. It really helps.
Thank you for explaining that. So, yeah. I also know that from our discussion with Chris that you had mentioned that when you were younger, you had a problem with your heart. Can you explain to our viewers, or our listeners, what that was and how the services that you have used from the Invigorate have helped you?
Yeah. So I had, when I was younger, I was hitting the chest with a car door while I was hanging out with some friends. Just the corner of the car door hit me just right. And it caused a lot of inflammation in my chest. It went from pericarditis to pleurisy, and then it bounced into what's called costochondritis. Basically, that all of my chest was inflamed. I would swell up on the inside. It was brutal. Luckily, I recovered from that. Now I do have a lot to do with the costochondritis still, which is inflammation of the costal cartilage in the chest. So the way I really combat that is trying to stay as active as possible, eating pretty healthily, maintaining good posture, and I use the cryotherapy quite a bit on my chest. I can see a huge difference when I do the cryotherapy directly onto my chest. It helps with my range of motion. My chest feels more open. It doesn't hurt to breathe. So it's my anxiety goes hand in hand with the inflammation in my chest. The more anxious I am, the more inflammation kind of rises, and then it just is a double-edged sword, and it's a brutal path.
Wow. So I know that a lot of our listeners are probably kind of curious about about cryotherapy. For those that are a little apprehensive about it, can you explain to them how it works? Because there's a lot of myths out there that you're going to burn or, something like that. So can you explain to our listeners about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So what's the most important thing about cryotherapy that you as a person need to understand is that it's completely safe. There are ways you can get hurt or burned or, frostbite, But if you take all the safety precautions that, you know, like our clinic and everyone else takes, you know, wearing socks and slippers and covering the hands, you know, if you do those precautions, you'll stay safe and you'll be just fine. But cryotherapy is a very, very effective tool when, you know, boosting the immune system, helping boost your metabolism, speeding recovery, and really, really knocking inflammation out. We have a ton of ways that cryotherapy helps. It was originally designed to help with rheumatoid arthritis in the 70s. But they found so many, you know, factors that played in that really, really helped people. And it's a really cool process. It's actually like taking an ice bath for over 3 hours.
Wow. So we are going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, and we will return.
Mr. Happy Living here. I love good things made by good people. That's why I love Zona Plus, the world's first software-controlled handheld device that improves cardiovascular health using isometric exercise. You're going to love yours too. I use mine almost every day to keep my blood pressure right where it should be. It also helps maintain healthy blood and oxygen flow and bone density. And it increases the production of nitric oxide, which also increases blood flow and lowers blood pressure. All good stuff. But what really surprised me is this little device has been adding muscle to my biceps too. I walk around all day long feeling pumped. Check them out at happyliving.com and select Partners in Happy for $50 off. Plus, for every order placed in the month of January, I'll donate $50 to WYTV7 and another $50 to Life Vest Inside.
Thank you to our sponsor, and for those just joining us, we are here with Spain Furr, who is manager and part owner of the Invigory, and he was just telling us about who he is and how the services started, what actually his experiences with this, where he works, and where this has helped him personally. And so Spain, let me ask you, I'm so curious. I had never really heard of cryotherapy before, and I certainly haven't heard of all the other services like the salt room, or is that a salt room? What is that?
Yeah, it's a salt room. Basically, the room is filled with salt. We pump it in. It's pharmaceutical grade. It's ground up and pushed into the room. And
do you sit in the salt, or what do you do?
Yeah, you sit in this large Pompazon chair, sit back and relax, and it's probably the best 45 minutes of the day.
Wow, wow. So cryotherapy sounds so cold. So, I mean, it sounded like in our first session that you could do spot cryotherapy, or is it full body, or is it a combination, or how does that work? I mean, how long do you stay in there?
Yeah, so we have two types of cryotherapy. We have whole body cryotherapy, which you're submerged from your neck down in a nitrogen tank. We pump nitrogen into the tank. It fills up. It's just a vapor, so it's not wet. I mean, it's cold, but it's not wet cold. You're in there for 3 minutes. You're tapping into fight or flight at that point. And then we also have spot cryotherapy, which is much less intense for the whole body, but more focused and more localized on a specific area. We get, a lot of ankles, knees, elbows, wrists, any part of the body that hurts, I've worked on it.
Because I wrenched my back just Monday loading some suitcases in. I'm in pretty good pain right now in my lower back, and it sounded like this, and I even mispronounced it. Is it cryotherapy or cryotherapy? Cryotherapy might
Yes.
be able to alleviate that pain. Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh, absolutely. We see tons and tons of back issues. Back issues is actually number 2 on the list, other than common cold, for why people miss work.
Mm-hmm.
One of our own owners, Brian Daly, he actually put the cryo tank in to help alleviate his own pain.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So now you have salt, you have cryotherapy, and you mentioned some other pieces. What are the other therapies that you had? You had
We have compression therapy.
Yeah.
We have
What is that?
compression.
What is compression therapy?
So compression therapy, we use the Normatec compressions. We have 3 different types. We have the legs, the hips, and the arm attachments. It's basically sleeves that we put on the body. We pump it with air and help with the air pressure. So it has the same kneading effect as a massage, but we're pumping, the air in, chamber by chamber, and it really flushes out the lymphatic system, helps with range of motion, circulation. I actually did it today on my legs because I did a leg workout the other day and I couldn't really walk that well. So,
and you were talking about this IV hydrotherapy. Is that
yes.
And they're actually sticking an IV in you? Is that right? And hydrotherapy?
Yeah, so we actually have a doctor and a nurse on staff that administer the IV. Everything is FDA approved. We're very, very clean and very, we're good with our IVs. Our nurse is phenomenal. Amanda, she does a great job with sticking people, making sure they're comfortable. They have tons of experience, and I get them pretty regularly myself.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Go ahead, Emma.
I actually have used the IV hydration therapy, and I can tell you, Amanda is wonderful. They're all wonderful, and it really helps. God, sorry, Chris.
Does that flush your system? Is that what the goal is to flush the system
So we
out?
have right now, we have 4 different types of IVs. We have age defense. We have immunity.
I need that.
We have the immunity, we have performance, and we have detox. So, when you come in, you can consult with our doctor or our nurse on, what you've got going on. If you're constantly tired or fatigued, they can point you in a direction of which one would be best for you. For me, I did the age defense, although I'm not trying to look younger or anything like that. I do it for the ALA, which is alpha lipoic acid. And that really helps me with fighting with my anxiety and depression.
Mm-hmm. And you have an infrared sauna too? I mean, boy, you got this whole gambit, don't you?
Yeah, I have a saying that if you can't recover or heal with us, you're out of luck.
Yeah. So it's always going to be the question, does insurance cover this?
Yes. So some insurances do. I know we have HSA and Flex. They cover it. A lot of people also get their receipts printed out and then hand it over to their insurance, and their insurance will take it from there.
Very good. All right. So Emily, it looks like we have some questions and answers from our listeners. Is that right?
Yes. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
I just want to go back a second and ask you, Spain, can you tell us a little bit, maybe a customer's story or someone that's used your services and has been helped by it?
Yeah, absolutely. I have tons and tons of success stories with helping our customers and people heal or transition into that next phase of healing. So we deal with a ton of athletes that are injured and they come off and they need our help. We help them recover, speed their recovery to get them back on the field, performing at the highest of level they can. Another that we deal with a lot is cancer patients. We help a lot of cancer patients with the infrared sauna, the cryotherapy, and even our IVs. one of my favorite stories, we have a cancer patient that came to me about a little over a year ago. He came to me and he had a unique form of cancer, and his doctor prescribed him to go to a completely different country, which was he was going to go to Spain. And they had all the exact same services that we provide. The only difference is it was going to cost him $18,000 a month to do those services. And he does our services now. He does infrared sauna, cryotherapy, and salt room on a daily basis. You know, he alternates all three. And he has, you know, lost a significant amount of weight. He has really lived a healthier lifestyle. He looks very healthy. You know, and I sympathize with him because my own dad, you know, is battling stage 4 cancer right now and just finished up his last chemo treatment. And, you know, it shows that I believe in this stuff, that I have my own dad who battles stage 4 cancer doing the treatments in our facility of cryotherapy, salt room, sauna, and IV hydration the most. And, you know I don't want to backtrack too much, but the infrared sauna is great for, you know, helping produce white blood cells and the white blood cell count, which, you know, is very, very important in fighting cancer.
Wow, I'm sorry to hear about your dad, but it's good to know that your services help with something like cancer, because that can sometimes be a very difficult disease to, you know, deal with. I do have some questions from our listeners, or I keep on saying, yeah, our listeners. So the first question is, can cryotherapy help you lose weight? If so, how?
Okay, so that's a really, really popular question we get. Cryotherapy can aid in helping boost your metabolism, therefore helping you lose weight. So when you're in the cryo tank, what happens is the blood, your body goes into fight or flight. So your blood is pulled from your extremities to your vital organs like your heart, your lungs, brain, liver, all that good stuff. So while it's being cycled through there, it's picking up oxygen, nutrients, good enzymes. Well, at that point, you know, you're so cold that you're beginning to shiver. Well, that's going to help boost your metabolism. It's going to help you shed those extra calories. Some studies show that you can burn up to 500 to 800 calories per session. I myself have never put that to the test. I just prefer diet and exercise.
Wow, that's pretty good. 500 to 800 calories. Our next question is, what is the difference between cryotherapy and infrared sauna? Good. Sorry.
So the difference between cryotherapy and infrared sauna is you have cold therapy and you have heat therapy. The cold therapy is great for inflammation, you know, pain management, things of that nature. With cold, you're vasoconstricting. With heat, you're vasodilating. So with the heat, it's going to help with blood circulation, promote circulation. So it's going to help with heart. It's going to help with muscle recovery and muscle aches and pains. I would suggest the cryotherapy more for like a joint issue, and the infrared sauna for more of like an immunity thing.
Nice. So another question that our listeners had was, can any of your services help prevent COVID-19?
So that's a tricky question there. I'm not going to sit here and say that any of our treatments have a cure for COVID or, you know, can stop COVID, but they definitely can help boost your immune system. All of our treatments, IV, IV, salt room, sauna, and cryotherapy all help boost your immune system. So although it's not a COVID cure or COVID prevention, it does help you prevent from getting sick. It helps you fight those sicknesses, not only COVID, but it helps with the flu. You know, it can help with anything, any kind of virus, bacteria. the salt is actually antimicrobial, which kills and fights, virus.
That's amazing. I do want to tell you that as a customer at the Invigory, I am so impressed with not only the services, but with the friendliness of the staff, the time that you guys take to speak to, the different customers. I've witnessed that. And I use cryotherapy mainly, and it's for anxiety and also delayed onset muscle soreness, which you have sometimes after a workout. But I cannot say enough good things about you guys. So I want to thank you as, a customer for providing an environment where I can come in and, feel like I'm being cared about. So. Yeah.
I mean, that's what we love to hear. We love to make people feel better, and transition into that next, phase of life, through healing the natural way. And we genuinely do care about each person that comes through the door, because, that's just who we are. We want to make the world a better place.
Absolutely. So, Chris, we have about 5 minutes left.
Yeah. So my question is, Spain, if you have 2 or 3 minutes to sum up everything you would want a listener to know about you, to help with them, and now, I mean, we have listeners all over the world, so they're not all going to come to Invigory. They're all over the world. So what would you recommend? What would you say to people that maybe not even have a chance to have this type of treatment? What could you direct them to or help them with?
Yeah. So, it's plain and simple. We at the Invigory, we love taking care of people. And I understand that we're not going to be able to take care of everyone. But the way you can take care of yourself is, your diet and exercise. That's the most important. It's going to help you fight sickness, disease. It's going to help you heal. It's going to help you grow as a person. It's going to help with your stress levels, your anxieties. So diet and exercise are what I would suggest for those listeners that, can't make it to the Invigory. And hopefully one day we have a location in their area that we can help them with everything they do.
Well, that brings up a point. How many locations do you have?
So we have one for right now. We have one in Waverly in Charlotte, North Carolina. But we are in the process of setting up a couple new locations. I'm not able to say where yet, but we have our eyes on a couple of places, and we're going to expand during COVID, even though, it's a tough time. We're going to continue to move forward and grow.
Are there centers like yours all over the country, all over the world? You said one in Spain, or is this very unique, very niche?
So this is a pretty unique area. If you were to research and get, our treatments, you can get our treatments in other facilities. It's just not all of them have all of our treatments combined. Like you can go to a cryotherapy clinic in New York or a cryotherapy clinic in California or wherever, or you could go to an infrared sauna in Kansas. There's all different places, but I've yet to see a business that has all of the above in the same area, in the same facility.
Very good. Okay, we only have a couple of more minutes left, so I want to thank you, Spain, for everything you're doing. And Emily, thank you for bringing this to our awareness. I mean, I would have never even thought of this. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners don't really have never been exposed to this. So Spain, if listeners want to contact you directly, how do they do that?
Yeah, so you can go to our website, theinvigory.com, or you can follow us on social media at The Invigory on Facebook, Instagram, and even Twitter. If you want to contact me personally, you can email me at Spain, SPAYNE, at theinvigory.com, or you can just give us a call at 980-339-1414. 5826.
Can you repeat that phone number, please?
Yes, our phone number is 980-339-5826.
Wonderful. Okay, folks, this is pretty much wrapping it up for this week. Yay! So don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Transitions Podcast. And visit our website to just subscribe to updates at transitionspodcast7.com. And you can always email us questions or feedback at transitionspodcast7@gmail.com. Folks, please contribute to our host, WY7TV. Is it WYTV7? Sorry, WYTV7.org. WYTV7.org. They are the ones that are hosting us, and they are doing a fantastic job. And this isn't the only podcast on here, all right? So please go there and contribute and contact Spain. He'll help you. And contact us. We'll help you too. All right? We're all here for you. All right, folks. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
See you guys.